This is Turd Flinging Monkey for TFM News. I'm going to be responding to a couple articles. The first one appeared in the Daily Mail, and it's called MPs Demand Ban on Using Sexual History in Rape Cases Following Ched Evans Trial. The second article is from the Telegraph, called Victims Groups Cry Foul as Footballer Ched Evans is Cleared of Raping a Teenager After Complainant's Sexual History is Put Before Court. To set the stage for this rape trial, in which the man was only acquitted during a retrial. He was originally found guilty and had to appeal it and fight for it and put up whatever the legal costs were in order to clear his name, and was eventually acquitted. Now, the real controversy isn't about the rape trial itself, it's the fact that the woman's sexual history was put on trial and used as a defense. If you're not familiar, you may be thinking, why would a woman's sexual history be relevant? You know, if you rape a porn star, you rape a porn star. Her sexual history doesn't make her not a victim of rape, clearly. So near the bottom of the second article it reads, quote, "The jury heard how Mr. Evans had been on a night out in Ryle on May 29, 2011, with friends including the footballer Clayton McDonald. They first saw a woman in the early hours of the morning falling over drunk outside a kebab shop, the court was told. Mr. McDonald took her back to the Premier Inn nearby, where Mr. Evans had booked a room, text messaging him from the taxi to tell him he got a bird. Mr. Evans followed soon afterwards, walking into the room while Mr. McDonald and the woman were having sex and joined in. Two others watched from the window. Mr. Evans later insisted she had been a willing participant, even telling him to, quote, fuck me harder. The two new witnesses who later came forward described similar scenarios with similar language and other details. Quote, their accounts have sufficiently close resemblance to the appellant's account as to make the evidence so similar that it cannot be reasonably explained as a coincidence, Lady Justice Hallett explained, setting out her reasons for allowing the new evidence to be heard. Skipping down a bit it reads, Rachel Kreese, co-director of the End Violence Against Women Coalition said, quote, we are very concerned at the precedent which might have been set in this case for allowing sexual history of complainants to be admissible evidence. The rules which prevent this are extremely important and are critical in trying to secure justice in rape cases, unquote. So that's all I'm going to read from the second article. Now I want you to process exactly why this evidence was admitted and the feminist response. So here's a man who had consensual sex with a woman. It was a group sex, it was an orgy. There were 3 other men at this orgy. And these 3 other men independently verified Ched Evans' story, that the sex was consensual and that he wasn't a rapist. Now clearly, it would have been better if he had like video evidence, but having 3 eyewitnesses is pretty fucking good. If someone was walking down the street and saw a woman being raped, like with a knife to her throat in a back alley, that person's eyewitness account would have been evidence. So here's 3 men who have an eyewitness account of the alleged rape happening and who testified in court that it was consensual, and they all gave similar independent accounts. And the fact that feminists are trying to twist this into that she's being attacked for her sexual history, like this is some kind of slut shaming. There were 3 eyewitnesses who witnessed the alleged rape. This isn't slut shaming. These are 3 independent men whose stories match up with the accused and not the accusers. That's why that evidence is significant. It's not an example of slut shaming. So now I want to return to the first article, which again was called MPs Demand Ban on Using Sexual History in Rape Cases Following Ched Evans Trial. The article begins, quote, MPs have demanded a ban on lawyers using the sexual history of rape complainants in court following the high-profile retrial of Ched Evans. The footballer was acquitted earlier this month after his defense lawyers used details of the alleged victim's sexual behavior to discredit claims Mr. Evans raped her. Again, notice how they're phrasing this. They use details of the alleged victim's sexual behavior. No, these are eyewitness accounts of this supposed rape. Again, not slut shaming, not telling her, oh, she's just a big slut, so of course it was consensual. No, they witnessed the sex happening and they saw that it was consensual. Anyway, continuing on, quote, but 40 female Labor MPs have written to Attorney General Jeremy Wright calling on him to change the law to stop such details being used. Now it stands to reason that without these 3 eyewitness accounts, which backed him up and which helped prove that the sex was consensual, he would not have been acquitted. What other evidence could he possibly provide? Unless he had a spy camera videotaping the sex happening, there's nothing he can do to defend himself. If multiple eyewitness accounts are now inadmissible as evidence, and it is already the case that a man, when he is accused of rape, is guilty until proven innocent, And if the man is not allowed to provide any defensive evidence, if eyewitness accounts are thrown out because, oh, that might scare women into coming forward if you have all these multiple eyewitness accounts who saw the alleged rape happen and she was saying, fuck me harder, then your only defense is to videotape every sexual encounter you have from beginning to end, which is probably going to get you arrested anyway, because that's illegal too. Later on in the article it reads, quote, allowing defense lawyers to use the sexual history of alleged rape victims would deter people from reporting the crime to police in the first place, they argue in their letter to the cabinet minister. You really can't come to any other conclusion than their goal, their end game, is to initiate a new round of witch hunts. Basically, a bunch of girls just went around accusing people of being witches, with no evidence. The fact that they cried and swooned in this trial was all the evidence that the people needed. All you have to do is ask yourself, if a man is accused of rape, what can he do? And the answer is nothing. There's nothing he can do. Even eyewitness accounts are soon going to be thrown out as inadmissible. There's nothing he can do. It's just his word against her word. And oh, she wins because she has a vagina. Clearly you're guilty, Mr. Penis. You get to go to jail. And when you consider the rape laws, the fact that you have rape shield laws which protect the woman's anonymity, but allow the man to be dragged through the mud and have his life destroyed even if he's found not guilty, and I can attest to this personally, when you are accused of rape, your reputation is shit. It doesn't matter if the person later recants, it doesn't matter if you're acquitted, it doesn't matter if it all goes away legally, your reputation is shit. And this is why the rape laws are so important to feminism, because they are incredibly powerful. They allow a woman to destroy a man's life just by pointing her finger at him and saying he raped me. No evidence needed, no counter evidence accepted, just do not pass go, report directly to jail. And unless you have Chet Evans money where you can afford a retrial, you're fucked. You're literally fucked because you're going to go to jail and get raped. And nobody cares. And it's like anytime a man is able to squirm his way out of the system, oh, we gotta shore up the law. Oh, a man was able to use 3 eyewitness accounts to the alleged rape to be acquitted? Oh, we have to change the law. That can't be accepted anymore. Now, many of you may believe that this doesn't affect you. That if you go MGTOW, if you're a MGTOW monk, if you don't have sex with women, then you're safe from false accusations of rape. And currently, that's pretty true. You are currently safe from false accusations of rape, because there has to be at least some basis for an investigation. Now, if you had consensual sex with a woman and she later cries rape, you are fucked. Because what can you prove? You obviously have sex, you admit to having sex, the only fact in dispute is whether it was consensual. Well, how do you prove consent? She says she didn't consent, you say you did, you're going to jail. Now, if you never had sex, if they can't place you at the scene of the crime, it's really hard for them to throw you in jail. But you have to consider the end game. They're slowly stripping away any defense a man could raise to defend himself in a false rape accusation. In fact, there was a video I was watching last week from Stefan Molyneux called Why Cultural Marxism is Destroying America, Duke Pesta and Stefan Molyneux. I'll post a link in the description. Now in this video, Duke Pesta, who's a guest on Stefan Molyneux's show, talks about how he was giving a lecture at a college, and he was talking about moral relativism and stuff like that, and one of the students got up and walked out. Which, sometimes you have a special snowflake, they get up and walk out because they're mad. This student went to somebody, some authority, and accused the professor of literally raping her. Not just raping her mind and her sensibilities, but literally having forcible sex with her. But the point is, he clearly didn't have sex with her. Now, if they had consensual sex, he would have been totally fucked. But because he clearly didn't have any sex with her, he was just giving a lecture, and she decided to get up and accuse him of rape, he wasn't brought up on any charges. But I share this story because if feminism gets its way, if any way a man can defend himself from the false accusations of a woman are deemed illegal, then you don't even need to have sex with a woman to be accused of rape. You can have a woman who just doesn't like what you have to say, who just accuses you of rape, and it's her word against yours, no evidence is admissible, and you go to jail, and you never even had sex with her. At that point, not even being MGTOW will protect you. It's literally a witch hunt. They could just point their finger and accuse you. The laws are so overwhelmingly biased that feminists know this is their key, this is their Trojan horse, because everybody feels sorry for a rape victim, as long as they're a woman, of course. There's a little asterisk after that. As long as you're a woman who's accusing someone of rape, you get instant sympathy. So of course he did. Oh, he's a man. Oh, men just think with their dicks. Of course he raped her. Unless the man has videographic evidence proving that he didn't rape her, he's pretty fucked. But I want to say one thing to these feminists who have this dream in their heads about creating a world where a woman can just destroy any man's life at the drop of a hat by pointing a finger and crying rape. That day may come, but it will be very short-lived. Because right now, men are content to just walk away. Just leave me the hell alone, go do your thing, just leave me alone. When that is no longer an option, when you paint men into a corner, and you give them no option other than to submit or fight, you are going to find out just how unequal men and women truly are.
Do not fuck with us.
This is Turd Flinging Monkey signing off.